If you need help, ready to stop, just shout and we'll come back.
Okay.
Hi, I'm an addict named Toni. I want to tell you my story. I am a recovering drug addict. Okay, so I come from a family of addicts, so I thought it was normal, you know, growing up, being around anything and everything. I had a pretty effed up childhood, but I still struggle every day and have to tell myself that it's going to be okay. I came too damn far to turn back to drugs. At the age of 12, I started experimenting with marijuana, pills, acid. From there on, by the time I was like 16, 17, I started snorting cocaine. The disease of addiction, it can really tear a person down. It literally has killed me more than once. I've lost like family, friends, their respect, their trust. To this day, I still don't have people that will trust me. Some have. It's hurtful. Okay, so I am 33 with 2 children. Due for my active addiction, I had a stroke at the age of 27, and I decided to detox myself. I started doing heroin and cocaine. I was a dancer, so I made really good money, but I got tired. I was so tired and I was so depressed. So I went home that night to my mom's, and I told her, I said, I'm done. You know, I want to be a better person. I want to be a better woman. So I gave her all my money and my drugs, and I told her I'm going to detox myself in her bed. And I did it. Within the 3rd to 4th day, I had a stroke in her bed. When she came in there to check on me, I was hallucinating. I didn't know who she was. She called 911. They came out there and they told me and my mother that, oh, she's just a junkie. She's going through detox. It's normal. When I couldn't even stand up and walk. I mean, I didn't even recognize my mother. So another day goes by, and my mom knew something wasn't right with me. Like, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. I was out of it, vomiting, sweating. It was just terrible. Shaking. I was withdrawing, you know, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be clean. I was tired of that drug life, that drug scene. It's bad. My mom ended up rushing me out to the hospital, and that hospital saved my life. As I got there, I had a second stroke. So I get to the hospital and I had a second stroke. And during this time, I'm on a ventilator. I was out of it for days. The doctors told my mother that this was a life or death situation. It's not just her detoxing from the drugs. I was probably like 89 pounds, like unhealthy. They was like, we don't think your daughter's gonna make it, so I need you to sign these papers so we can give her the antibiotics that she needs, because I had endocarditis from shooting heroin and cocaine. I also had blood on the brain. I started having seizures. I remember waking up, opening my eyes up, and I see my family, my daughter, my grandma, and my mom, and I see them all talking. And I couldn't talk because I still had that in my mouth and my throat, but I couldn't hear. And it's like they just knew. something's wrong. And I'm looking, and I like waved my mom over, and I'm trying to tell her, like, I can't hear, like, everything. It's silent. It was like deaf mode. It was deaf mute. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever experienced in my life. I was okay with, you know, being a mess up junkie. I was just tired of it. But when I woke up in that hospital and I couldn't hear, you know, that meant, like, how am I going to hear my kids talk? You know, how am I supposed to communicate with people? The only thing they could figure out was that from where I was so unhealthy from the drugs and everything, the antibiotics they gave me was too strong. And that was by like 4 or 5 different physicians at the hospital. Also, then my mom had to sign a paper because I was still like hallucinating. It was bad. It was bad. It was just so bad. I'm in ICU and I still can't hear anything. So from there until 2015, I was deaf for like 4.5, 5 years. At this point, I couldn't walk. My whole left side from having the strokes, I couldn't function, so I had to do like therapy and shit. It was tough. Addiction is a bitch. Like, it's terrible. So they get me to do the open heart surgery because I had endocarditis. And I wake up and I see this hose sticking out of me. And I'm like, what is that? And it's some of the infection that still was coming out. And I remember asking my grandma, what's this? And she, you know, she started crying. There was still infection coming out, but luckily enough, somebody was obviously looking over me because they was able to fix and get the infection out of the valve. And the remaining stuff was just, it was like, they took the tube out the next day is what I'm trying to say. And then it was okay. But I still couldn't hear. I had never felt so lost in my life. I think I already said that. Shit. I remember my sister coming out to the hospital, and she bawled, and she seen me and she was like, "You're so small. Like, why would you do this to yourself?" It's not that I wanted to do it to myself. Them drugs, like, they was defeating me. And I was tired of feeling defeated. And it's like when I tried to do something to get off the drugs, I had a freaking stroke. I stroked out. And then the authorities wanted to treat me like I was just a piece of trash because I had a drug problem. That's unfair, you know. You shouldn't judge people. So yeah, you can say, you know, between the ages of 13 to 17, I have done every kind of drug there is, and it messed me up physically, mentally, emotionally. There was times where I would trade sex for drugs, my body for money. I would date drug dealers just to get my fix. That's not no way to live. So I ended up going to a nursing home. I was there for 3 months. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to do everything. It was a struggle. but I stayed clean. After that, I moved to another county, and I'm still deaf. That's what's really got me. I'm babbling shit. Okay, 2010 is when I got off of heroin and cocaine. Then I moved to a different county. I ended up meeting somebody, and during this time I was still deaf. I found out I was pregnant with my second child, my little boy. And he is my best friend. But I did not know that the man that I fell for was a meth dealer and a drug user himself. I had no idea. So after having my son, there it was again. Rock bottom due to drugs and my bad choices. No one to turn to. I had relapsed after I had my son on methamphetamine. And within 30 days, I lost everything. My mind, my sanity. My son. My daughter. I let my babies down again. And myself. When I relapsed on the meth in 2016, my little boy was only 3 months old. And that shit got me again. And it was only like, I literally only did it for like a month and a half, if that. Everything evicted. Fucking, I committed suicide. And I woke up in the hospital. And when I woke up, I was mad. Like, why in the hell am I still alive? Like, the drugs keep defeating me. That's how I felt, you know? And I tried to attack my sister because I knew she's the one that called 911. Because I had left a will for her to get my children because I committed suicide. So when I wake up in the hospital, realize that, damn, I'm still alive. But I done lost my children again. I had got evicted from my house. So they put me in, I was in the mental ward. And once I was released from there, I had nowhere to go. Nowhere. And I still wanted to get high because I had lost my kids. I just wanted to be numb. So I had to go stay at a homeless shelter for battered women. So I'm living with complete strangers in a shelter. Worried sick about my kids. And when an addict worries and stresses, they don't know how to take all their emotions and deal with it. They want to be numb. But not this time. That shit wasn't taking me down again. I fought. Went from nothing to getting clean. It took me about 8 months till I got my own home. Both my babies back out of the system. Stayed away from the father. I got clean on March 13th, 2017. I surrendered and became the woman I am today. Thank you for letting me share my story. Okay.